reaction video. This is what he's looking at.
You don't love me if I was a fan. You be a fan for a fan.
She'll love you, bro.
You pray for a fan. You just go all the rest of the way. You take it right. Charleston boys. What's the business?
Game 101.
But it's time to boss up, man. Just like you heard, man, the motherfucking sauce, it costs, man.
Game 101, motherfucking DVD, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Me getting a whole bunch of ism around here, man.
Pow wow.
Hey,
my boy.
I-45 Connect. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Game 101, DVD magazine. Man, get at your boy.
You know what I'm saying? When you're pink now, they got on powder pink, Pablo pink. Put this shit on, give them the shoe. Yeah, shoe Dior, by the way.
Disrespect a lot of jewelers, man.
Now, Johnny, don't tell them that. Hold on now. Yeah, man, Game 101 DVD magazine, man. You know the sauce is mean. Every time I'm on the motherfucking scene, really motherfucking clean, look how the Mr. Clean. Soap, nigga, splash time, soap on my body. He bought like, Game 101 Radio, man. It's Mr. Nike. Hey, man, where you at? Game 101 Radio, you ain't listening? You ain't paying attention? What are you doing, man? We working. You ain't on Game 101 Radio?
Gotta be real street, be in these streets. You ain't in these streets like Game 101. Love like
Mr. One, the Triple UNZ. The Real North Dallas documentary on Amazon Prime right now. The Real South Dallas documentary on Amazon Prime right now. It's a whole lot of Game 101 DVD magazine shit going on, man.
And make sure you check out How the Screw Changed Your Life and Trans War.
That new sauce, man. We putting this new sauce on it, baby. Hey, what's happening? What's happening, man?
What up? What up?
We can barely hear you, man. Barely.
Out the phone. It ain't gonna come through here. It's gonna be out the phone.
Oh, okay. Well, barely, but we can hear you a little bit.
We got a mic by the camera. It's gonna pick you up. We can hear you good enough.
What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Game 101, man. We live here, man. Hey, hold on, man. Tell the people who you are. Benzo Bling. Yeah, man, we've been hearing a lot about you, sir.
Whole lot.
So how's life been treating you? Yeah, I was just finna ask you that. You still in jail, huh? Looks like you in jail smoking, sir. What is that? Okay. Yeah, so where you located at? Well, I can't say. Ask you where you located. You still in Texas, huh? Okay, cool. So, man, ever since all this done transpired and all that there, man, What's been going through your mind? What's been going on? Just run us down through there, man. What you been doing? True. So you been reading any books since you been down there? Oh, okay. You ain't been doing. You know, most people get that.
Want a better way for cell-free DNA? Get an exclusive 3D demo of the Vanity
Down there, man, get physically fit. You ain't been on that yard or nothing yet. You ain't been working out. Working out the spoon. Yeah. Come on, fat, not swole. Yeah. Before you got in a situation, what was you actually doing? Getting money and rapping. So with you rapping, who was some of the people that you rap with? Or you was affiliated with? You said Ducky P? That's what you call a son that got killed, right? Oh, that's your cousin. Oh, damn. Okay. Damn, man. So, he got you started rapping? So Bushy kin to you, too.
But the video, you can almost. I'm not.
I've got this dream, and you're all in it.
Let's hear it.
With Wells Fargo Premier.
I'm not a forensic expert, but the video, you can almost make a similar comparison.
Right.
As far as body type, skin color, and knowing black people like we know black people, right? We're not just guessing on skin color. We know how certain things work, or as far as our appearances go.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just say real life street stars. You know what time it is.
Old internet.
Ain't gotta see so many cameras these days.
Real life street stars, man. We got our lawyer in here, the real life lawyer. Larry, what's up, man?
Man, not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. How you doing?
I mean, I'm doing all right, man. There's a lot of crazy things that are happening right now, and it's back to back, and I just had to grab you and just get your legal take on this, man. So what I want to kind of start with is Yellow Beezy murder for hire.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw that, what did you say to yourself?
First thing I said was jail calls. I said jail calls are involved, right? Because if it's murder for hire, as a police officer investigating it, how do you know and where do you go to find out who he paid to do the hit? You don't necessarily have that blueprint. But what you can do is you can sit down, you can listen to these jail calls, of people who you think might be involved, the people who you feel are definitely involved, and listen to who they're talking to and what the chatter is. And usually when you have a case like that, the police don't have anything. And so those jail calls become extremely important.
Why 5 years later?
I think I said it before. I said this particular DA doesn't do knee-jerk reactions. He's very methodical as far as how he and his staff goes about doing things, and they weren't just going to jump out there too early. They were going to make sure that their investigators did their work, and they had something solid. And when he felt that it was a solid case, then they were going to react.
And compared to like murder, how serious is murder for hire as far as the like law is concerned?
I mean, when you think about the different levels of how homicide takes place, you and I can get into a fist fight, not you and I, right? Not you and me, but me and that dude right there. We might get into it, and it's mutual combat. I hit him, he falls, he dies, right? And so now, depending on the situation, it's just a homicide. That one, the loss of life is always serious, but then when you start ratcheting up the levels, that's one way. Now, if I go out and shoot him because I'm angry at him, is that a crime of passion? That's another thing. But then if I go out and shoot him for money, now I'm getting into the first degree, because now I have plotted, planned, and not just deprive him of his life, but deprive him of some kind of property. This one is you actually working with others in concert and paying money to kill someone. So it's extremely serious because you have a bunch of people in play. And so now you really, if you think about it, you don't have just one murderer, you have multiple murderers. Because if I'm willing to say I want you dead, that means I'm also potentially willing to kill you. But then if I bring in other people who are working with me to kill you, now I have a group of murderers who are running around Dallas County.
Could he be considered for like a RICO type of situation because they're saying that he facilitated all these people, XYZ?
Most definitely. We kind of talked about this before. When you start getting multiple parties involved, and then what really brings the feds in is when you start using interstate commerce, when you start using things like PayPal, Cash App, things that move money around that involves, interstate transit. And that's considered, the internet is considered part of that, right? Wire transfers, anything that goes over those digital lines, then you open yourself up for even more serious crimes or accusations.
So I think he was charged with capital murder, right? And that's like the worst.
Right. That is, you're looking at life without the ability of parole or the death penalty.
Right. I'm gonna pick up. I forgot about that. Oh, okay. Bond.
But let's go back to what you asked me to at first, and I was talking about the jail calls. Right. That's one way in a case like this that officers get information. I said that they listen to all the parties who might be involved, but then the person that they have in custody becomes almost like a conduit for them to find others who are not in custody. And that's when you really start going and lining people up and interrogating or investigating the crime by talking to people outside. And so when that type of heat starts coming, man, people start talking. Right. And, and the crazy thing about it is your half-truth might actually answer someone else's half-truth, and now they have a full understanding of what took place. So if assailant A says, oh man, we went over there around 12 and nothing was going on and we picked up woo-de-woo. Assailant B says, oh no, we went over there probably closer to 1 and then this was happening. They take what they know to be true and put those two stories together and help them narrow what really happened. And that's one of the biggest problems with cases like this when you bring in other parties. You just never know who's going to say what.
Right. At first, Yellow Beezy had no bond. Right? How is someone able to get bond when they say no bond? Can you break that down?
Your lawyer. Usually a lawyer goes in and argues the fact that you have a constitutional right to have some amount set. I saw where the state had said that he was a flight risk, that he was a danger to the community. And those are usually things that the prosecutors say to either keep you in jail with no bond or to get a high bond. In this case, he has a high bond. If he is able to get out and pay that bond, he'll be most likely required to wear a monitor and be house detained. That's for his safety and for the safety of others. And if he should do anything to violate while he's on house arrest before this trial, chances are the next time he's arrested or he's brought in, he will receive no bond.
Right. As a prosecutor, would you have said no bond as a prosecutor?
Yeah, you always want to say no bond. Right. You want to say no bond. Why? Because if I got you locked up, what did I say? First thing, jail calls. Right. I got now, in order for you to communicate with anyone, I'm there. I'm listening to everything. And a lot of people think they talk slick and, talk in circles, but you best believe there's someone who can translate that.
There's a lot of alleged rumors that say Trap Boy Freddy is on the run now because of that. If he was really on the run, I mean, that would be somewhere right here where they would have been and got him by now, and he wouldn't just be able to post and do stuff, right?
Not necessarily. It just really depends on. So anyone who is affiliated with Beezy, if they see this and they run, it's not necessarily because if they wanted Trap Boy, chances are they would have acted in concert. They would have arrested Beezy at the same time that they arrested Trap Boy, because you don't want to arrest one person and then have another person just skedaddle if he's someone or there's someone that you think were actually involved in the murder.
If it is true that he is on the run, allegedly, in your professional opinion, if he wasn't charged with anything, because there's no word that he has been charged with anything, why would he go on the run?
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this one, but ask Russell Simmons. He left the country before any indictment came against him. You feel them hairs on the back of your neck start flaring up, and you feel like something's coming your way. A lot of times you'll have people who will skedaddle. If you think about it, and just being honest, this system is not, I don't know any person of color who's ever said that the criminal system was treated them fair or good for them. And so because of that, he might feel that if his name is somehow in the mix, it's just best for him to lay low or get out the way.
Can there be self-defense in a murder for hire?
This one is going to be interesting, right? So I looked at what you guys have put out and looked at what some of the other things that have been said. So Yellow Beezy was shot off of the toll road several years back. At that time, there's been no, for what I know and what I've read, there's been no arrest. Yet and still, there was a diss song put out that basically talked about the shooting. And at the end of that, it basically said, I missed this time, but I won't next time. And so now, just depending on Yellow Beezy's situation, the defense may look at this and saying that he lived in constant fear of his life, and law enforcement had not found the person who shot him. And so, it gets to be real interesting, because I don't know how I would react if I was in constant fear of my life and my family in constant fear of their life. We just saw several weeks ago that when shooters come after you, they don't care if there's a little girl in the car.
Right, right. What could that charge be reduced to?
I don't know if they would reduce it more so than do something on the plea, as far as the time is concerned. I don't know if they would reduce it. And it might be something that you might have to put to a jury and let a jury say that they feel that the story was compelling enough that, you know, law enforcement didn't take care of it. So he put the law in his own hands.
So Keywan White, I believe that's his name, aka Banzo Bling. They say he's the star witness of this trial. What are your thoughts on that?
That, to me, the first thing that comes to mind is he was probably someone who was in the middle of the transaction, right? So I'm sitting next to someone and they say they want to kill X, Y, Z. And I was like, I got a man who can do that for you. And he might have said, you know, it's going to run $5,000, $10,000, and I'll make sure that it's done. So he might have been somehow in between the shooter and the person who hired him.
So there's going to be an interview that's going to come out in a second, and he's going to say that he did not shoot Mo 3.
I mean, that's interesting, right? Because the video, I'm not a forensic expert, but the video, you can almost make a similar comparison.
Right.
As far as body type, skin color, and knowing black people like we know black people, right? We're not just guessing on skin color. We know how certain things work, or as far as our appearances go. That's going to be a really hard one to explain. And not saying that there's not someone who has that same characteristic, but I think the thing that hurts him the most is the videos and things that he's been a part of, showing guns in his hands and being a convicted felon. PSA, if you're a convicted felon, man, don't be anywhere near a gun. Don't hold a gun. If you got a gun and you're a convicted felon, be prepared potentially to have federal consequences. Just off the rip. Don't even be in a house with a gun in it.
Would you tell, how would you tell a convicted felon to protect himself, if need be?
Move somewhere where you feel safe. Period. Move somewhere where you feel safe.
Convicted felons allowed to have mace?
Shut up and pay that money.
You can have mace, but you cannot have a firearm.
Okay. Just get a little bit more tactical.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I also tell people, like say, for example, in a Lil Wayne situation, someone who is famous or someone who has some notoriety or someone who has the means, if you're really in that position where you're afraid for your life, hire someone who has clients and they have situations like that. I make sure I have off-duty officers protecting them because number one, they're clean and taken care of. Two, I have someone who's trained in firearms and someone who's licensed and someone who's recognized to carry a firearm, protecting them. Not some Joe Blow, not anyone just off the streets, but someone who understands that and understands law enforcement.
Right. Banzo Bling also says that he's not locked up for the murder of Mo 3, and you can go check it out on pacer.gov.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to that? Is there any way that they will hide these things?
As we are sharing some new details.
All right, now to a developing story. North Texas rapper.
Begin with breaking news in Dallas, where rapper Yella Beezy.
Just for context, This is approximately noon on I-35 heading north.
Excuse me. Play you for those ultras? Well, we're kind of high level.
Just for context, this is approximately noon on I-35 heading northbound. This video is taken from a Kroger 18-wheeler, and this is heading north I-35 into downtown Dallas on noon on November 11, 2020.
What the hell? One second.
Yeah, that's what's up.
All right, so we got Mo 3.
The rap world is in shambles right now. The big
On a more serious note, one day after our last interview, Mo 3 got killed.
Yeah.
Literally 1 day later.
Yeah.
Explain your relationship with Mo 3, because I know you guys had a mixtape together. An album, right. There was word that he was signed to you?
Everything we did, we just did. I was in the mix with it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If it was this, they let me get a percentage off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't have to have paperwork with him like that because I ain't want to tie him down because he was too big of an artist. You know, so we just got money together. You know what I'm saying? My little partner. You know what I'm saying? I miss him, bro.
How'd you guys hook up? Was it over the?
As soon as I came home.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I came home, we had hooked up.
Okay, so he reached out.
Yeah, he reached out. My brother was like, we gotta go sign this little nigga Mo 3 out Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And we went down there to a show and this nigga rocked that motherfucker. Mo 3 was one of the most talented rappers that never been took away, bro. Like he had that kind of talent. Like, you know, he was one of the most talented rappers that never been took away, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Everybody Ain't Your Friend, which you jumped on the remix for.
Yeah, but that's not Mo 3 catalog. That's just a big song for him. Like Mo 3 got, like, he got a catalog before the Everybody song.
Well, I interviewed him.
Yeah.
Me and him sat down for, hour and a half. He got to tell his whole life story. Very, very cool person, very dope personality. But in part of the interview, and a lot of people started tagging me with this, I started asking him how he deals with security, how he deals with haters and stuff like that. And he said, well, when I do certain shows or whatever, I'll have security with me, but in general, I'm cool. And what he literally said was, ain't no one trying to chase me down in Dallas.
Am I right?
Okay.
I'm wearing my security. I pay for this motherfucking necklace. I'm wearing this bitch.
Okay. I mean, do you have actual security with you when you walk around?
No, I just got good friends, man. We are good friends, and I got my homeboys with me. Security sometimes is with me with the shows and stuff. When the promoter book me, they got their own security, that accommodate me and shit. Shout out to them, But other than that, like, I ain't worried about none of that, Vlad. So, I ain't got no security. I'm not out here, nobody chasing me down, trying to do nothing to me. So I ain't worried about none of that.
And tragically, a day later, that's exactly what happened. When you first heard the news, how did you feel?
They ain't want to tell me. A couple of my partners found out before I got on the plane. I woke up to it on the plane, getting off the plane, walking through the terminal. And, and that's when I saw it, I was like, damn, they got my dog, But the streets, you know how that shit go, man. When you walk banging in the streets, that's all part of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna get shot at, It ain't like we signed up to go to motherfucking Harvard, you know what I'm saying? Like, you sign up to go to Harvard, you gonna miss some tests, you might fail some tests. You sign up with this thug shit, you gonna get shot at, you gonna get shot, missed or hit, that's just all a gamble with what we choose, and this the life I chose.
Man, I mean, from what I understand, he was at a girl's house and someone was waiting for him outside in a car. When he got out, they started chasing him. And right there in broad daylight, side of the freeway, he got killed.